Tim is a lifetime Scouter and an Eagle Scout from the Atlanta Area Council. He has served as a Cub Master, Scout Master, committee member, and committee chair, district and unit commissioner, and was a Girl Scout dad whose daughter earned the Silver Award. Tim currently serves as Boy Scout Roundtable and unit commissioner and district Religious Emblems Coordinator, as well as a member of the Council Religious Relations Committee. And he's also a religious commissioner on the United Methodist Committee on Scouting and a Wood Badge Scouter who has served 3 Wood Badge training courses. So Tim, hopefully, are you almost there with your screen?
I'm trying to get it to come up, but I'm running into a little problem. It's not showing me what I need.
Do you want me to try and share?
Yeah, if you'll do that.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So just tell me when you want me to advance.
Okay. Well, welcome everybody. Appreciate you joining us. My program this morning will cover the Religious Emblem Coordinator, and I'm actually presenting to both the Boy Scout of America program as well as the Girl Scout USA. So there are some similarities and some differences. So I'll try to cover all those as we go through the presentation. For just ease and to speed it up a little bit, where it's Girl Scout USA, I'm just going to use the term Girl Scout, and Boy Scouts of America will be Boy Scout, because there are a couple of variations, but like I said, this actually is good for both programs. Go ahead. When we look at, the Religious Emblem program and kind of who helps to promote it and, provide information, the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts, similar titles, but as you see here, the Girl Scouts person is called the Faith-Based Program Coordinator. In the Boy Scouts, it's the Religious Emblem Coordinator. I might confuse a little bit as I go through, but like I said, these are the 2 programs and the 2 people that help coordinate that and help, bottom line is for the youth to get their religious emblems. Advance.
Hang on just a second, Tim. Rebecca, since I'm sharing the screen, I cannot see the chat. So for the audience, please send your questions to Rebecca, please. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Oops, now it's not a. Well, it doesn't want to advance. Well, my screen is frozen.
Okay, let me see if I can get it to share my screen now.
Okay.
No, for some reason it's not allowing me to pull mine up either.
Okay. I got mine to work.
Okay, good. There's information available to describe the Religious Emblem programs. This is a brochure that the Boy Scouts have developed, and here's the web link for it. And as mentioned earlier, all this information will be available for you to look at later. Next slide. Inside that brochure is a breakdown by the different faith groups, and there are over 43 faith groups within this brochure. And as you can see, some of them tie back to the PRAY program, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Then others, like the Armenian Church. If a scout is Armenian, he would actually contact the group directly as it shows here. And this breaks down, again, this is the Boy Scout, but which are Cub Scout, Webelos, Boy Scouts, Older Scouts, and even adult recognitions. Next slide. And it looks like you're on mute, Jerry.
Bottom left.
Yeah, no, I'm frozen again, so let me see if I can.
Your mouse is moving.
Yeah, I know, but I'm. No, I cannot get it to advance.
Sorry, we're having the technical difficulties. We'll try to get this straightened out here.
There, did it advance?
I see your face. I don't see the screen.
Oh, well.
Is Rebecca able to advance? Can she take control of the screen? There you go. Good.
Okay.
Okay, now this is a shot of the Girl Scout religious recognitions. It's on the To Serve God brochure. And again, here it's available through Pray Publications, the Girl Scout USA program. Next slide. I'm going to show this morning, and again, there are multiple faith groups, and those brochures show for each of the faith groups, but actually show the Roman Catholic as well as the Methodist, since it's part of our program. So as this shows, from the Cub Scout at the youngest up through Ventures, older scouts, and then adults. So these awards. The Girl Scout program also has the recognitions. Go ahead and advance to the next slide. Now these are Protestant, and so many of the Protestant groups use this. As the guide in church shows there in the middle, it actually has the Methodist cross and flame on it. So again, Jesus and Me is kindergarten and first grade. God and Me is second and third. God and Family is 4th through 6th. Then God in Church is 6th through 8th grade, and God in Life is 9 through 12. So those correspond to the Girl Scouts as well. Next slide. A point of the other religious emblems. There are programs for other religions, and again, that information is available either through scouting.org or the Pray for the Girl Scout. And this is just some more examples of the various emblems that the Scouts can earn. Next slide. So now I'm going to talk about the Girl Scout USA program. It's a faith-based program. Their purpose is to serve God. All Girl Scouts promise to serve God. It's part of the oath. They're encouraged to grow in their faith, and they actually have a two-part that they can earn. First is My Promise, My Faith pin. It's one of the requirements for their advancements. And then the individual religious recognitions for their faith. Next slide.
Well, I'm frozen again, so hang on. Okay.
Seeing it yet. Okay.
You see it now?
Yes.
That's the right slide.
Correct. So first, the My Promise, My Faith pin. It was created by the Girl Scouts of the USA. It helps the girl to connect with their faith. The Scouts examine a line of the Girl Scout law and also consider how it ties to their faith. The requirements for the My Promise, My Faith pin are found in each level of the Girl's Guide to Girl Scouting. And the My Promise, My Faith pin is actually a complement to the religious recognitions. The pin helps the girls to make the connection between their faith and the Girl Scout law. Then it points them to the religious recognition of their own faith. Next slide.
It's frozen again. Hang on.
This could be a bandwidth issue. If you are not a presenter, please close out your video. We'd love to see your smiling faces, but it really is taking up a lot of room. Thanks.
No, it's still not. So stop share.
Jerry, make sure that you're not, you don't have anything else open like Outlook.
Yeah, I don't have anything else open. Escape. Share screen. There.
Okay, so now we get to what actually does the program coordinator do? Again, the Girl Scouts use the term faith-based program coordinator. It was a position created by the National Interfaith Committee for Girl Scouts. And it helps to integrate the religious recognition into their program. So the motivating force in Girl Scout, it's a spiritual one. Religious recognitions help the girls connect Girl Scouting with their personal faith and also help strengthen the connection between Girl Scouting and the faith communities. The councils encourage to promote the faith-based program coordinator position so that more girls can learn about and participate in the program. Next slide. The responsibilities for the coordinator include equipping volunteers to promote the faith-based awards to both the girls and their families at the local level, the troop level. The person should be knowledgeable about the recognition for the girls and adults created by the National Religious Committees and the My Promise, My Faith. They should become familiar with the resources that are available. And again, as we spoke, and those links are provided so you can look those up. To provide available information for the program to the volunteers through the service unit meetings, displays, trainings, webinars, and other events. It encourages the volunteer leaders to offer opportunities for the girls to participate in the program and earn their recognition. And also it's for participation of the individual. It doesn't have to be the entire troop, but the individual to build on their faith. Next slide. Additionally, to publicize enrichment opportunities for the individual faith communities and the Girl Scout Council. To encourage that Girl Scouts participate in Scout Sunday, Scout Sabbath, and any faith award celebrations. Also, great way to promote is to have success stories where it's worked, and like the one slide during the introduction where a church actually put on a Zoom conference to do the faith award. So, there are opportunities to do and to share what's working in how to do even more. Collecting data, it helps us to know that, we're getting the message out there, and it also helps, an end of the year report, just see how we're doing. And hopefully year after year, we have more of the youth participate in the religious recognitions. And also to collaborate with the council staff members and volunteers to manage those faith-based relationships. Next slide. Okay, so what's expected and what are some of the requirements? First and foremost, uphold the Girl Scout promise and laws and the Girl Scout mission statement. To comply with the Girl Scout policy, standards, and guidelines from the council, the articles of incorporation, and the bylaws. The coordinator should commit time, energy, and what's necessary to meet the requirements. Perform things in a timely duty or a timely manner. Compile and report to a assigned volunteer or the council, just so they know, what you're doing and what's the impact of this program. Should be able to work with the girls or adults from all ethnic, racial, economic, and cultural backgrounds. To represent the Girl Scouting in a professional, enthusiastic manner to the youth, the adults, and the community. And to possess good verbal and written communication skills. Next slide. Okay, now I'm going to segue over to the Boy Scout program. In the Boy Scouts, their title is Religious Emblem Coordinator. And for this position actually exists in 3 places: at the unit, at the district level, and then at the council level. I serve as a district religious emblem coordinator, and a big part of what I do is to share information with the different unit leaders and to encourage units to have a religious emblem coordinator. It's kind of the go-to person, how to get the information to them and then to promote the activities. So again, it's education, motivation, evaluating, and expand the program. Next slide. So again, just as I said, encourage the youth to earn their emblem, promote the emblems like the way the Boy Scouts promote youth advancement. It's another program. It's not a requirement, but it's an option that Scouts can participate in. And then to set goals and track the results. Next slide. Baden-Powell had a lot to say when he started scouting, and I think this one applies perfectly. No man is much good unless he believes in God and obeys his laws. Every scout should have a religion. Religion seems a very simple thing. First, love and serve God, and then second, love and serve your neighbor. Next slide. Again, the rationale for having a religious emblem coordinator, it reinforces the BSA values through the religious emblems. It improves the relationship with our religious charter partners. As Chris mentioned early, a lot of the scout units are chartered by the churches, so it makes that connection even stronger. It's also a way for us to go out and encourage churches who don't currently promote scouting, both Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. This is a way to involve their youth and build a connection between scouting and that religious organization. Next slide. So just like the Girl Scout program coordinator, be familiar with the requirements of the position, what you need to do. There's all kinds of information and training that helps you to be good in this position. So take advantage of that. Use the promotional material to promote the religious emblems. Make a plan, set your goals, recruit presenters, could be the minister that you want to get involved, and then schedule presentations. And lastly, stay connected. Sign up through emails and spread the word. Next. Specific to the unit Religious Emblem Coordinator, he's a member of the troop committee and appointed by the committee chair. They acquaint all the youth about the Religious Emblem program and what's available for their faith. Again, it's not a one emblem for everybody. Each faith has its own emblems and programs, so the scout participates in the one for his faith. It works with the scout families and the clergy, have an orientation to the Religious Emblem program, and then encourage their involvement, because it takes both the scouts family and the clergy for this program to work. Then finally, urge all the youth to work on their religious emblem. Next. Some of the things that the coordinator does: disseminate information. A lot of times the districts and the councils will have religious emblem activities, retreats, campouts. In Atlanta, we have the Duty to God encampment, which is a weekend that focuses on the religious emblems as well as the different faith groups. We promote the religious emblems in the same way as youth advancement, coordinate the goals and track the results, and serve as the unit's liaison to the district Religious Emblem Coordinator. Next. So this are, I wanted to look at, these are some of the goals. And again, this is for both programs, both the Boy Scout and the Girl Scout program is, find out the number of emblems that have been earned. And it can be at a unit level, district council, or by religion. Track the number of presentations that are made to the scouts and their families. Find out the number of congregations that are offering religious emblem classes. Another could be, to promote having these classes. And then the number of trainings that are offered for the emblems. Again, each one's different, so there's a lot to learn about them. The more information you know, the better you can share, and this helps the program to grow. Next slide. Okay, here's some of the examples we've talked about earlier. Again, Catholic Church, the Methodist Church, the Pray program. Mentioned that throughout this program. There are additional sessions later today that are specific to the Pray program. So they'll get into the kind of the nuts and bolts of how the Pray program works. But this is a great resource. Again, it has sections for the Girl Scout Religious Emblem program, as well as the Boy Scout program. And then even through scouting. So all these resources, and again, this will be provided in the material that'll be available to you later on. Next slide. Okay, Jerry or Rebecca, whoever's got the questions, thank you for participating with me. So we'll try to answer some questions.
Rebecca, can you hear me? You're on mute. Rebecca, you're on mute.
Okay, having trouble getting all these spots collected. Okay, one is, was it a question that we have an email that someone is interested in sending their Catholic Committee newsletter, and that will also be a part of the things that are listed later.
Okay, good.
And I'm not getting any questions, so I'm not sure if this is just locked up or nothing has come through. Oh, questions. District. REC, how do you know how many emblems have been awarded?
Good question. I know within the Methodist Church, that's one of the items that Chris Carabinas handles is actually, tracking those. Their Pray program, the ones that are through Pray, more information's available and they can find out those. A good way is to start, kind of poll the units. Typically, the individual units track which of their scouts have earned the emblem. So that's one way. Councils have some information, not always a lot, not always good information, but, kind of check multiple sources. And again, I'm sure the Catholic Committee does this. I know Chris does for the UMCOS, the United Methodist Committee on Scouting.
Also, some of the organizations for the Boy Scouts, the Charter Org Rep, a lot of times tracks that kind of information. And for the Girl Scouts, if the organization has a Girl Scout representative, that would be another resource you could go to.
Also, if your district has a religious emblem,
Coordinator. Yes.
They will be doing some collecting. It's just like anything in scouting. If the troops let you know and packs let you know, you can find out. Otherwise, it's kind of hard to track these things. We do have a question, Brian, if you can pop in on Boy Scouts are covered by one group and Girl Scouts by other. Did I understand that right? And why is there two different coverages?
Is that related to the Catholic Church or program in general?
That's why I was asking if Brian can pop in.
Yeah, I'm trying to, is the question in the Zoom? I'm looking for it.
It's, I can see it. I'm not sure you can. So it's for Catholic boys.
Oh, I see it. Are covered.
Covered by there. Yeah, got it.
Yes, and it's, yes, Boy Scouts is covered by NCCS, and Girl Scouts and other groups are covered by, whoop, it just moved on me, the national, the NFCYM. But there was a question in the original, in the opening session, that can girls get the NCCS program? And the answer is yes, if they are registered members of BSA. But whichever you're registered with, that is the governing body, for lack of a better term.
And Inez will go over that one in more detail in the next, in her next class, which comes up next in this class line. You don't have classes. Only one religious knot is allowed per scout, and winter medals worn on uniforms.
Okay, correct. As far as there's a youth knot, the purple with silver thread. There's an adult knot, like mine here, where it's silver with the purple thread. There. There's one knot, but the scouts are able to actually earn, as I went through earlier, the God in me, God in family, God in church, God in life. If a scout earns all those religious emblems in those different age groups, they can actually own their knot. They could wear like a Cub Scout emblem, a Boy Scout emblem. I'm not sure from the Girl Scouts point of view, and if they have knots or other type of emblems that they wear to recognize. And maybe you can help me with that one, Rebecca. But
okay.
Go ahead.
Well, the question I think you wanted was more so on the actual medals, the big ones.
Okay, when to wear those?
Yeah, those are worn at any formal occasion.
Correct.
And
right.
They are worn on the left pocket and they kind of hang down. For Girl Scouts, they're allowed, they do not have knots, but they are allowed to wear their religious earned medals or pins on their uniform vest or on their shirts, things like that. So yes, Girl Scouts can wear their religious. They just have a little.
And like you said, it's not in the Boy Scouts, not kind of, it's there all the time. You wear the actual emblem or medal during, award ceremonies, if there's Scout Sunday, Scout Sabbath, other duty to God or faith-based programs that are going on, you wear those. I'll show the example of my Methodist Cross and Flame. So I don't wear this very often, but on special occasions like today, I felt it was appropriate to wear.
Yeah. Oops, I went too far. And there was one from Kansas that, yes, their diocese keeps a count, and that's how they find out how many have been earned. Someone else says the Catholic Church website actually has the REC training material. Is there training for religious emblem coordinators?
There is some basic information I know the Boy Scout website does have information. I think Pray has some additional information that would apply for the Girl Scout program. One thing, Rebecca, I do want to go back where we were talking, like in the Catholic Church, a little bit, some variations between Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. Within the Methodist Church, where we use the Pray program, but it can be any, can be Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, non-Scouts even. We, at my church, we open it up, when we're going to have one of the Pray programs, such as the God and Family, the kids in 4th through 6th grade, we invite anybody who would like to come and participate in that. So it's not just a Scout thing. Pray is separate from Scouting. So that opportunity to participate is open to everybody. And again, it could encourage a church to, bring new members in because of a program provided for the youth.
How can someone encourage the clergy to accept requests for more opportunities to support the Catholic programs? Brian, can you handle that one?
Could you either repeat? I don't see it. Could you repeat it?
In my area, clergy are few and far between. How can someone encourage the clergy to accept a request for more opportunities to support the Scout Catholic programs?
Ooh, that's a very good question. I think it's going to depend on the clergy, who's in the area. You might want to contact the Archdiocese Youth Ministry. And that's kind of, at least in Atlanta, that's where the Scouts fall under. And so they may be able to help with that, because it's going to be very specific to the local diocese as to how that functions.
Also, this is Ines. Something that we do here, we don't have very many Catholic churches in the South. So what we try to address is at different churches, of course, in the bulletins, websites, contact the councils or the districts and let them know that we have this opportunity. And put your name as a point of contact. That's how you can promote the program. We know that there are locations where Catholic Scouts cannot go to Mass because there's no church in the area. So we understand those limitations. The other thing that you can do is, as it was mentioned earlier, you can contact our committee and see how we can also help you. We may be able to coordinate some kind of activity where either a priest or a deacon or somebody can go and talk with you guys.
Yeah, if this is Jim Weiskircher, one of the things that happens across the country is there are some areas that the priests are not in, there are not tons of priests around. The best thing to do is when you're looking to get a priest involved is to have a priest-to-priest contact. And you've got the opportunity to use the regional chaplain. He can help direct you or can make those contacts for you. So please use the regional chaplains that we've got, like in your area. You can reach out to them and see whether or not they can help you, because they may have an idea of what's going on in the area and be able to help with you, with you.
And we work with Scout Book coordinators at National to have religious awards, just not the knot, as an award in Scout Book. And that I will certainly bring up at one of our national Zoom meetings we're having constantly right now. Another question, it's just a reminder that there actually is RAC training online. And it's a very good training. I actually just finished it within the last 3 months. So, and again, a lot of people want to know, it would be great to track it on Scout Book. I know the one answer might be just that this is a vehicle that we use to help already earn a rank, whether it's in Cub Scouts Duty to God or whether it's one of the little individual requirements in Scouts BSA, as it can be used as part of your one requirement for your rank. So, whether or not they'll ever go beyond that, I doubt it, but that's just the way they're going. Archdiocese in Venice in Florida collects and reports all their emblems and things like that. And emblems, we're talking about, someone says check with your scout shops. They might be able to help. They would know how many purple knots they would sell, but again, that would only, it might be buying for 2 uniforms. Most youth don't have 2 uniforms, but it would be hard. It would give you a general idea.
Right. And that's one of the things too, is for the religious emblems, the medals and that type thing, come from those groups that, like in our case, the Methodist Church is from Pray. So that's, the local scout shops don't carry these. You get the actual emblem from like the Pray program. Catholic Church is through their program, their committee. And then other faiths as well. So kind of it's a 2-part. You get the knot if you're a scout leader, or the youth knot for the younger scouts, but then the emblem will come from a different place.
Ask if a girl earned the Catholic religious emblem as just a Catholic girl. Now they're registered in Troops BSA. Would they wear the religious knot?
I'm not exactly sure on that. It would seem as if they earned the award, it would count.
They will have to earn it on their, they will have to earn the religious award for that program.
Okay.
In other words, a Girl Scout program they cannot wear the Girl Scout awards in the Boy Scout uniform, or vice versa.
Rebecca, is there, as far, I know this isn't a religious award, but like the gold award, can the girl wear that if she's both in Girl Scouts and Boy Scout?
No.
Okay.
She can wear the Girl Scout, the gold award in the venturing uniform.
Okay. Thank you.
But
good information.
Not Troops BSA.
Okay.
So, and Girl Scouts wear their medals? Yes, we do. Okay, the new, oops, moving too fast here.
See one Once you're trained by the ICN committee, does the training expire? Does it need to be done annually? Could someone answer that for us?
Yeah, normally with the training or whatever, each individual diocese would choose the length of their training. Usually it's like 3 years. So it's not the same, you know, like it's normally not every year, but it's done on a local basis. So the local committee decides how often they need to be trained again.
Okay, thanks, Jim.
You're welcome.
Another one for either Inez or Jim. My Girl Scout and my Cub Scout each completed their Catholic recognition this year, and the one key difference we noticed was that my daughter's I Live My Faith application did not need to be signed by our priest.
Yeah, one of the things that happens with the Girl Scout program, the Girl Scout program is owned by the local council. They're the chartering organization rep. The chartering organization rep for Scouts BSA is actually the church unit itself. So with the requirements from the National Catholic Committee on Scouting, we want the priest to be involved and see that Scouting is really a youth ministry. So we have required that contact. And it's also really a good experience for the Scout to have some one-on-one time with the priest to see what they've done, and for the priest to see exactly what the Scout has done. So that's one of the requirements of the NCCS program. And it's worked very well, because then the priest sees that, you know, this is not some group that's just having, you know, just using our facility, but somebody that is actually a youth minister working with the kids. So I think it's a great way for the Scouts to do it.
Okay, Jesus and Me, which is one of the Pray programs, is new and is not referenced in materials yet. The Jesus and Me program, this is when I taught with Jason, the head of Pray, last year. And Jesus and Me is a program they added just for the Protestant, so that the kindergartners in first grade would have something to take. It is not a part of the NOT program. We actually found over the years that having first graders, first, second, third graders all in one program was hard on the counselors to begin with. It was hard on the little kids. And so they decided to develop a program for them specifically, and then they included the kindergartners. So now it's Jesus and Me for for kindergarten and first grade, and that is not a NOT program. And then second and third graders are actually the ones that should be taking God and Me. And that keeps the whole Pray program still within the 4 parts of the cross, with the God and Me, God and family, and so forth. So no, they do not earn a NOT, and no, Lions don't have anything as for duty to God. One of the reasons that Pray gave for not adding Jesus and Me is when they added the kindergartners, is because most faith groups do not go that young in youth groups. And so in order to be able to provide things for every faith equally, they chose not to add a 5th item to this. Okay, my diocese offers a Pillar of Faith Award for Catholic Scouts who have earned all 4. And Jim just sent a notice to everybody. Oh, come on. It's hard to.
The one thing that works extremely well for us is, you know, like the Pillars of Faith has been a program that if a Scout earns all 4, they also receive an extra presentation, a little pin that says that you've earned all 4. What we've had, because Adultary Day is a very intensive program, some kids kind of kind of shy away from the Pope Pius. And when we introduced the Pillars of Faith program, we got those kids who used to drop off continue on and earn their 4th religious emblem. So the Pillars of Faith is a great program. It's out of Colorado, the Diocese of Colorado Springs. And it's a fantastic program. Probably about 70 dioceses across the country use the Pillars of Faith. And it has just been, they used to put the name of each one of the medals on the pillars, but because of some of the changes and stuff like that, they have gone to, if you earn all 4, then you get it. So that if somebody earned 1 or 2 awards as a Girl Scout, then switched over to Boy Scouts and earned 3 and 4, then they could get the Pillars of Faith in most dioceses.
Yes,
What?
and Girl Scouts can get also the Pillars of Faith. That's a new change. In some dioceses, they are required to have 4 of the 6 awards, or in others, they require all 6, but they can receive now their Pillars of Faith, which before wasn't the case.
To be approved as a Catholic REC, I need to be trained by a diocese committee member. Please explain briefly this training.
In fact, I think there is actually a little bit of the training that's going to be going on. The big thing that has to happen is that each diocese operates a little differently. Some have scheduled, like retreats. Some have scheduled board of reviews at certain times. So a lot of it is the logistics of what transpires what transpires within the diocesan committee, what you need to do. But then also each one of the counselors are trained a little bit differently. Like if you're doing Adultari Day, like you're leading the discussions with the kids. When you're Pope Pius, you are much more of a moderator, making sure things are moving along and that the kids are training each other. So it's actually trying to impress upon you the different stages of, number 1, the requirements have to stay the same. Number 2, all the requirements that your diocese requires, like you have to have Virtus or Safe Haven training as well as the Boy Scout training. So it just makes sure that everybody is consistent in the diocese as to what they need to present and how they need to present it.
Okay. The question of all questions, how do you get your church involved in the Scout program?
Communications.
Yeah, one of the things from the Catholic perspective, we have just approved at the national level. We have actually a guide for Catholic scouting, and it's a PDF that's about 50 to 60 pages long. It was originally done in probably the 40s, been updated several times, and it's now been updated again. So that's a great way for a priest to see exactly that scouting really is youth ministry. It goes through and answers most of the questions that they might have. So that's something that's good to do, and to sit down with the minister or with the priest and show them what it does. In my diocese or whatever, we have available a memorandum of understanding that basically tells the priest, from the priest standpoint, this is what we expect from the parish. But then the additional steps are, what can you expect from the unit? And so it's an agreement that they understand what's going on, what you're supposed to provide and what we're supposed to provide. So it's a great way to sit down with the priest and have a meeting and have them understand, like, what is scouting all about.
Rebecca, we're coming up on our time to either shift rooms or get ready for our next session. So we'll stop the questions now. But as you see, you've got my email. If anybody has additional questions, please feel free to send those and we'll respond back. And Jerry, can you go ahead and advance